And I just want to give you the rules. Please be respectable. Please be quiet when people are speaking so we can hear whatever they want to talk about. And if you are disrupted during a meeting, you will be removed. You cannot disrupt a meeting, guys. We're here to conduct business. So thank you so much for listening. All right, go ahead. Who's your first person for public comment?
This is for the mayor. Per our last conversation at Dunkin' Donuts, you asked me, could you talk to me? I allowed you to talk to me. And Madam Clerk, I want it on record today that Tiffany Henyard can never, ever, as long as she stay black, approach me and ask, can she talk to me, because all she do is lie. And she know what I'm talking about.
You're not going to understand until they put those cuffs on you. You're not going to understand it. You don't care. But baby, they on to you.
It is a shame that we, the public, can't ask you anything about the BMWs, the Range Rovers, all of that. It's like you're keeping all of that hidden from the taxpayers, and we pay for those.
So it's time for another Tiffany Henyard update because things are falling apart fast. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Tiffany A. Henyard is the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, and she's also the supervisor of Thornton Township. She makes about $300,000 a year in taxpayer money.
I'm the mayor of Dalton. I got elected in 2021, becoming the first female mayor of Dalton, and the youngest. And then I got appointed to supervisor a year later.
For the different jobs, so Dalton pays you what as mayor, Township pays you what?
Sure, so my mayor position is $50,000, which was already there, and my township position is $224,000, which was already there. When I got sworn into either seat, it came with the salary.
Now the interesting part here is that when Henyard was asked about how much she made in the past, her answer was a little different.
You make almost $300,000 between your two elected positions.
I do not. I don't know where you got that number from.
We got it from her own village and township records.
So your first question may be, why are we talking about Tiffany Henyard? Well, even though she's the mayor of a small town, she is essentially holding the town hostage and has been dubbed the worst mayor in America. Now, to show you why she's earned that title, here's a quick list of some of the things that she's been accused of doing. For instance, she told residents to pay their taxes by playing the song, "Bitch Better Have My Money."
Every single resident. Pay me what you owe me. Thank you, DJ.
Then she hires a registered child sex offender to go into people's houses.
Furious after a Fox 32 investigation found this registered child sex offender on the public payroll. 46-year-old Lavelle Redmond is close friends with Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who in September hired Redmond as a code enforcement officer without the village board's approval.
Then when the local city council wanted to meet to discuss what the mayor was doing, she locked them out of the building and denied them any more financial data. So now no one knows how any of the money's being spent.
Good evening to you. The mayor locking the trustees out of Village Hall tonight, forcing them to have a meeting out in the parking lot, all of which has Dalton residents shaking their heads in disbelief.
We had a quorum, we had the clerk, and we had a board meeting outside.
Why the pushback on her part, you think?
Well, there's things on the agenda that she doesn't want us to pass.
It got so bad that the bank threatened to repo the police cars because Tiffany Henyard and her cronies weren't paying the bills.
More financial turmoil in South Suburban Dalton after a bank says the village failed to make a massive payment.
Yeah, the threat now, tow trucks could be arriving soon to repossess some village vehicles.
Lawyers for the bank now warning the village, pay up or be ready for repossession agents to take the vehicles, which include 6 police cruisers.
Now, we are just scratching the surface here. There is so much corruption going on with this little town that the FBI is now involved and issued subpoenas because, let's just say it plainly, the money is really funny.
WGN Investigates has obtained or reviewed subpoenas the FBI served to Thornton Township and Dalton. They serve as a roadmap to the ongoing federal investigation. They seek payment and expense records for Tiffany Henyard, as well as her boyfriend, who runs a violence prevention program for the township. Also named Henyard's top aide, Dalton's acting police chief, along with 4 village and township trustees and 2 of Henyard's relatives who are on the government payroll. The FBI also demanding records from the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation after we reported at least $10,000 in taxpayer money went to it. And then there's Henyard's top aide in both the village and township, Keith Freeman. He's been charged with bankruptcy fraud for failing to report his earnings from Dalton, but he remains at Henyard's side.
Okay, so now let's get to the updates. So let's start with Tiffany Henyard's salary. She had an ordinance passed that said if she were to lose the next election, the salary that she gets from Thornton Township, which is about $220-something thousand, would then go down to $25,000 only if she lost. But if she won, she would continue to rake in over $200,000 a year.
2 weeks ago, the Township Board passed an ordinance that allows Henyard to continue collecting her $224,000 a year salary. But if anyone other than Henyard gets the job, the ordinance resets that salary to $25,000 a year. Odelson says that's blatantly unconstitutional because you can't set an elected official's salary based on who's holding the seat.
Now, this was so crazy that the Illinois state government said enough's enough. They literally passed a law making what Tiffany Henyard did illegal and stopping anyone else who tries to do it in the future.
Henyard makes $224,000 a year in her township supervisor job. In December, the Board of Trustees passed an ordinance that some called outlandish. It states that if Henyard runs for re-election in 2025 and loses, her successor's salary would drop to only $25,000 a year. But a bill passed in Springfield this week would undo that ordinance and make sure a move like this doesn't happen in the future. And that bill did pass in both houses, and right now all it needs is the signature of the governor.
See, it says here the bill would also prohibit a township from decreasing the salary of a person elected as supervisor while maintaining the salary of an incumbent. That's exactly what Tiffany Henyard was doing. That's exactly what this bill outlaws. Now, I'm going to stop here real quick because let's say you're injured because of someone else's negligence. Things like car accidents, truck accidents, defective products, or defective drugs. Give me a call at 571-NATE-LAW. That's 571-NATE-LAW. Or you can also click on the link in the description. Now, we can represent you or we can help you find the right attorney. Now, it's incredibly important to speak to an attorney right away to protect your rights. Now, you can call the number that you see on the screen or click the link below to get a free case review and free consultation. Now, next up on our list, there are serious allegations of financial impropriety at Dalton. Hell, the FBI is looking into it. Now, because Dalton and Thornton Township are public entities, then they are vulnerable to Freedom of Information requests. Now, any citizen can ask both the city of Dalton or Thornton Township to release things like financial data, credit card data, and budgets. How are they spending the people's money? So now, because this has become a great story, all the news media have been putting in these information requests to both Dalton and Thornton Township. But the mayor and her cronies have just decided not to fulfill any Freedom of Information Act requests. So now the local news media is suing them to get the records that they have to turn over by law.
And more now on our investigation into Tiffany Henyard's leadership in the south suburbs. WGN is suing the village of Dalton for refusing to follow open records laws and release spending records. Last year, WGN Investigates sent Dalton an open records request seeking copies of the agency's credit card statements, as well as records relating to Mayor Henyard's compensation and the cost of her taxpayer-funded vehicle. But Dalton has declined to release the documents. After WGN Investigates appealed, Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office ordered Dalton to release the records by mid-March. But that deadline came and went. WGN is now asking a judge to order Dalton to comply.
So as you just heard, she doesn't want to let any of the information out. Even when the AG said you got to let it out, they still said no. But the FBI has also asked for the information, so I believe that she's probably giving it to them because that's under FBI grand jury subpoena. If you don't comply with that, you go to jail. Now, the last update we have is the recent village board meeting. Thank you to all 6,000 of you who joined us live during that live stream. But why this last board meeting was important was because the village trustees hired lawyer Lightfoot to investigate the mayor. The mayor then vetoed that. And now at this meeting, the board of trustees were going to override the mayor's veto. And that's exactly what happened.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve overriding the mayoral veto issued on May 6, 2024.
Second. Is that second? Second. Is there a motion and second? Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor, if I may.
Okay.
After the completion of this vote, I would ask that Mayor Lightfoot, who's present today, get the opportunity to speak on this issue.
Is it something you want to say?
No, I would like Mayor Lightfoot to.
We're not gonna grandstand today, so if it's something you want to say, we're done with our meeting. So, if it's something you would like to say,
We can add it in the discussion.
Well, my discussion was stated, so I will request, and I don't think that the meeting will adjourn until that happens. So we can prolong it as long as you would like, Mayor.
Now, the trustees overrode the mayor's veto, but the mayor didn't want Lori Lightfoot to speak at all. And she did everything possible to make sure she didn't say anything.
Motion passed to override mayor's veto.
Next on the agenda is motion to adjourn. Is there a motion? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I have a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Aye.
Do you have a motion to adjourn?
No, motion to suspend the rules.
Guys, we're done with the meeting. All the grandstanding can stop. It's over with. So that's it. Can I have a motion to adjourn? It has been motion. Is there a second?
It wasn't a motion to adjourn, Mayor.
Trustee. Oh, trustee, did you? Trustee Holmes, did you adjourn the meeting? Okay, he adjourned. Is there a second? Is there a second to adjourn the meeting?
So as you can see, the mayor just tried to adjourn the meeting, but no one else wanted to adjourn until they heard from Lori Lightfoot. This upset the mayor because she wanted to get the hell out of there. She didn't want Lori Lightfoot to speak. So she did everything. Even when Lori Lightfoot started to speak, she cut her microphone off.
Thank you.
Y'all will be.
What I would say is that it's an honor to be working on behalf of the residents of Dalton.
There's no respect.
We have not rested while this procedural matter is in limbo, and we're not going to allow anyone to stop us and obstruct our ability to get to the facts. So thank you for your confidence, and we will continue working. Even though they turned the mics off, we will continue working on behalf of the residents of Dalton, and we will give you the facts that you deserve.
Okay, y'all done now? Y'all done with the grandstanding? Are y'all done with the grandstanding?
So now, after Lori Lightfoot's mic was cut off, all hell broke loose. We saw it live, and then the police had to clear the room. Here's what happened.
Let her speak! Sir! Let her speak! 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 Let her speak!
Lightfoot there, not able to finish her remarks. You may have been able to hear her say they cut off her microphone. It was just after that police started clearing the room and threatening to jail anyone who didn't leave. That was the fiery end of what was an already contentious meeting.
So the walls are obviously closing in. FBI investigation. You got the internal investigation with Lori Lightfoot. Then on top of that, you have the news media doing all of these FOIA requests for information and now taking Henyard to court to get that information, which obviously she doesn't want to show because it may also lead to more criticism. Now, the number one question I usually get when I handle the Tiffany Henyard story is, how long is it going to take for her to get arrested by the FBI? And my answer is always, who knows? But we will continue to cover the story and continue to watch the madness as it unfolds. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that great YouTube stuff. My name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.